causes erectile dysfunction? Is it something that just happens on its own when you get old, like osteoporosis or wrinkles? After all, you don't see a 30-year-old man in Viagra or Cialis commercials. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Nazanin Moali, licensed clinical psychologist, sex therapist, and host of Sexology podcast. And I'm here to tell you erectile dysfunction happens to men of all ages. In my practice, I've counseled men in their 20s that are struggling with erectile dysfunction and men in their 70s who are having passionate sex with their partners on a regular basis. So why do we all believe this myth of erectile dysfunction and aging? I think this has a lot to do with the storyline perpetuated by movies and advertisements. It's never the young jock who has erectile dysfunction, but the Hollywood reality couldn't be farther from the truth. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the causes for erectile dysfunction in men who are in their 20s, 30s, or 40s. First, let's start with the youngest category. While there isn't tons of research focused on men in their 20s, a recent study found that 1 out of every 4 men seeking treatment for erectile dysfunction is below the age of 40. Medical conditions such as early type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or cancer can certainly impact anyone's ability to get an erection, even if you are in your early 20s. Any health condition that impairs blood flow will make an erection more difficult to get. After all, higher blood flow is the physical reason for getting and maintaining erection. The great news is that the younger you are, the more likely for these damages to be reversible. And that's a benefit of youth. The problem is that the men in this age category are probably least likely to seek help. Aside from medical reasons, there are many mental barriers that lead to erectile dysfunction in this population. The more likely ones are lack of sexual skills, low sexual confidence, and over-reliance on porn for arousal. If any of these sounds familiar, be sure to check out our sexual skills season in Sexology podcast. We have recorded more than 30 episodes with other sex educators, researchers, and therapists to help you become an incredible lover. Let's move on to the next category, men in their 30s. A cross-cultural research study from 2004 found that 11% of men in their 30s struggle with erectile dysfunction. That is 1 out of 10 people. One common challenge for this population is an unhealthy lifestyle. For example, a diet high in red meat and processed food increases your risk for developing high cholesterol and heart disease, which leads to erectile functioning challenges. The other common problem is having a sedentary lifestyle, and this was shown in a 2012 study. Now, keep in mind, you don't need to be a marathon runner in order to have a great sex life. All you need is a 30-minute exercise of any time that causes you to sweat 3 to 4 times a week. Also, drinking too much alcohol, described as more than 3 drinks per night, is more common in this group, and this can also lead to reduced blood flow and sexual dysfunction. Common psychological issues for men of this age are high stress, anxiety, and depression. When you're anxious, your body releases cortisol. Cortisol reduces blood flow and makes it harder for you to get an erection, even if you're in front of a wildly attractive person. The other problem is depression, which leads to low sexual desire and feeling of helplessness. Unfortunately, men struggling with depression may turn to alcohol for help, which can only make the problem worse. In fact, men with depression have 3 times the risk of having erectile dysfunction. The great news is that if you treat the depression, you can also treat the erectile dysfunction. Lastly, let's not forget that if you are in a relationship, the health of your relationship plays a major role in your arousal level. If you and your partner are fighting all the time, drifting apart, or are otherwise not on the same page, seeking help from a licensed couples therapist helps you resolve the bedroom issues. Now, let's move on to men in their 40s, which are the last category for the video today. Of course, some of the causes for erectile dysfunction that I mentioned before can still impact men in their 40s. Poor health, diet, high alcohol use, stress, anxiety, and depression impacts us the same regardless of our age. A survey showed that men between the age of 40 to 60 most had changes in the quality of their erection. In another study, only 10% of men said that they had no change in the quality of their erection. But it's important to mention that these challenges were not found to have significant impact on having fulfilling sexual experiences. Some of the reasons for erectile dysfunction that impact this group more than younger men are side effects of medications and sexual issues related to their partners. There is also more likelihood for diseases such as prostate cancer, hormonal disorders, and neurological problems. The first step in addressing any sexual health challenges is consulting with your physicians and sex therapists. No matter how old you are or what causes the erectile dysfunction, there are solutions that will help you achieve a fulfilling sex life. If you're looking for actionable tips on how to improve the quality of your erection, download my free checklist below and make sure that you're subscribing to our channel. And thank you so much for watching our video today.